Hey, what's up, comic book fans, and welcome back to Bat Year Returns.
Oh my god, still going strong.
We were just taking a break from spooky season, and one season that hadn't wrapped up yet, Bat Year. We're getting back into it.
Bat season.
Yes, Bat season they call it.
That's right. Before we get into the topic of the hour, Batman the Killing Joke, there is some horribly devastating news that just happened today that we just have to address right up top.
Right.
These things always seem to happen on a Bat Year. I mean, there has been a lot of amazing creators that unfortunately passed away right while Bat Year was in full swing.
Correct. Well, the second we kick it right back up,
right.
we got another one.
We took a little hiatus here for spooky season. We're like, all right, you know what? You know what would bring this back hot out the gate? Let's do the Killing Joke. And I have something special for that.
Yes.
And then this morning, we get the news that the superhero community, the community at whole, took a loss with Kevin Conroy passing away just today.
Yeah. Devastating.
Horrible.
Exactly. And this is just terrible. Like, this was the guy who was the voice of Batman for, like, everybody.
Yes.
You ask anybody, even, like, they don't even read comic books. They know Kevin Conroy's voice as Batman. This one hit me the hardest out of all of them that have happened in all of our Bat years so far. It's just terrible. Like, this is my childhood. This is everything that, I loved about Batman growing up. Was just his voice and how he carried the character.
Yeah, 30 years doing the character, and as you said, he is the quintessential voice of Batman. He is the voice that everyone pictures when they read a Batman comic. Now, undisputedly, the best interpretation of the character. I think we've discussed the fan community, especially the Batman community, loves to be at odds with each other on who's the best Batman.
Yeah.
Is it Clooney or is it Kilmer? It's one of those.
It's one of those,
right?
Yeah.
Turns out, no. They'll all unanimously agree that it is Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And it appears that he was just a wonderful person on screen and off, too.
Oh, yeah. Hell of a guy.
So he passed away today after a battle with cancer and left a hell of a legacy to be proud of. Also worth noting, Kevin was an openly gay man, which he wrestled with across his career for many years. He actually just recently contributed to a very moving short on DC's Pride anthology that was out this year, and it's called Finding Batman.
Nice.
Where he recounted the challenges and the persecutions that he faced as an actor, trying to shield both his personal life from his professional work, all of which led to him channeling it into the dual identity of Bruce Wayne and coming up with the booming voice of vengeance itself. So absolutely worth a read. It's something he wrote himself, and it is available online for free right now, I believe.
Awesome.
So seek it out. Big loss.
Yeah. Just terrible.
So on that note, we received a call on the Bat phone just 1 month ago.
Wow.
And this was orchestrated by a good friend of the show, Q. And I've been waiting to play this until October wrapped up and we returned to Bat Year. And then upon hearing the news this morning, I was really wrestling with how to proceed. But upon listening back to it, I wanted to share it with the community. I found it very inspiring, and I think it's just a wonderful message to hear right now. So without further ado, the late, great Kevin Conroy.
Imperius Rex, Dave, Troy, and Deal. This is Batman, calling you from the library of Wayne Manor. Your Imperius Rex Diamond family wanted me to send you this message as a thank you because they so appreciate everything you do. So this is just for you. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. Okay, now this is Kevin. I am calling you from the library of Wayne Manor. As you can see, I'm surrounded by a whole cast of characters because I've been doing this role for 30 years. So I've been collecting these things. The fun thing about doing the role for so long, aside from playing the dark, brooding, complicated man, and aside from the great actors I've gotten to work with, has been this interaction I get to have with the audience, this dialogue. The Batman fans are incredible. They are so passionate about the character. And there's a very unique connection between the fans and Batman. It's almost like a personal connection. And it's not like that for Superman or Wonder Woman or The Flash. It is different with Batman. And I think the reason is that because of all the superheroes, he's the only one who's not a superhero. There's nothing supernatural about him. He can't fly or see through walls. He's a man. He's a human being. He's like you and me. He's more like a detective. Some people actually call him the great detective. But not only is he human, he's a very flawed human. And he knows he's flawed. He's been damaged by life. But aren't we all flawed? Don't we all get damaged by life? So it makes Batman that much more relatable because he's so much like us. What distinguishes him is that no matter what life throws at him, no matter what crisis or challenge or failure, he never lets it defeat him. He never lets it make him angry or bitter or crush him. He takes that pain that life throws at him and he turns it around and he gives it back to the world as love. Because his whole mission is to leave the world better than he found it. And it's the nobility of that mission. That's what we admire so much about him. But that's something we can all aspire to, because you don't have to have superpowers to want to give to the people in your life, to want to leave the world a better place. All you have to do is care enough to try, to want to. Because everyone faces challenges in life. Everyone faces crises and disappointments and failure. We all stumble our way through life. We all do. But that's not what defines us. What defines us is how we get back up and learn from our mistakes and get back into life. That's where Batman is such a wonderful role model for everybody. Because he never, ever gives up. Even in the Killing Joke, how far can Joker push him to make him become evil, to make Batman become evil? And the Joker pushes and pushes and pushes. And I got to tell you, the incredible thing about doing this project for 30 years has been working with Mark Hamill. He is a madman. He is a wonderfully, wonderfully talented actor. And he is a generous actor. He gives so much to me. And we love working with each other. He once said the most amazing thing that I was so honored by. He said that I make him a better actor. And I can't help but reciprocate the compliment. He makes me a better actor. Because, acting it's really about reacting. You're reacting to stimulus. You're reacting to the situation you're in. You're reacting to the emotions that it dredges up. And when you have an actor like Mark Hamill giving you so much passion and material to work with, you just have so much to react to. So it makes my job that much easier. But I have loved working with him and all the actors. It's been an amazing experience. So anyway, congratulations, guys, on all the work you do at Imperium. Here's a shout out to Imperium Rex. Keep up the good work. And remember, it's not who you are underneath. It's what you do that defines you.
It hits so much harder now.
I know.
Because you're like, that, not only like, was that for us? Like, it was just like,
And it was only a month ago.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
This was one of the last things that he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was obviously battling cancer at that time, but still gave back to the fans, the community.
Such a pleasant guy. Such a pleasant, and he still had that gravitas in his voice and everything. Golly.
What a legend. So, in honor of the character of Kevin and all the great contributors throughout the years, I advocate that we officially move on from Bat Year Returns to Bat Year Forever. No longer beholden to any particular span of months. Bat Year is freeform.
Yeah.
Able to take place whenever it's needed. Whenever the world demands justice, or in the words of Kevin, love, Bat Year will be here.
I love it.
Just answer the call.
It'll always be here. In our hearts and on episodes sprinkled in through the year.
That's right. Yeah, we don't feel the need to cram them all in right now. We can just kind of take them as they come. So with that, let's light up the sky, light up that bat signal one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it shining for Kevin, along with all the other great creators that have passed this year.
Yeah.
Your Neil Adams, your Tim Sale, George Perez, and unfortunately also this very week, the massively talented Carlos Pacheco.
Yeah.
All passed on. So to them, we raise a glass. So with that addressed, let's move the show on, because we have to move forward. Let's move on to one of the quintessential Batman stories of our time. The book where Alan Moore strips Gordon naked and shows him lurid photos of his paralyzed daughter.
Boy, I'm excited to actually kind of talk about this. And we kind of, before the show, we're talking about it too. And this is going to be
We kept stopping each other. Let's not get too far ahead.
I'm kind of excited to get our thoughts on this one, because they may or may not be what you think.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the notorious Alan Moore story, the one time he wrote Batman, a full-on Batman, that gives backstory to the Joker, and it also involves him devising a plan to prove that all it takes is one bad day to turn the sanest man mad.
Wow.
Sounds good.
It does.
One of the few times Brian Boland has done interior artwork. Normally he's a cover guy. But he, I believe, requested Moore write a Joker story for him to draw.
Nice.
So all the pieces come together.
And Moore was like, it'll only be 70-some pages or something. It's like, perfect.
Yeah. And you know I'm gonna Moore it up.
Have you ever drawn Gordon's butt?
I'll do you one better. You can draw his whole crank. Right up top.
Yeah.
Did you see the part where it shows Gordon's crank?
I must have missed it.
Okay. First things first.
Let's get this crank business figured out.
So this is also a recolored edition. This is a deluxe edition. Came out in 2007. And apparently Brian Boland was unhappy, or just didn't quite vibe with John Higgins' coloring in the original version.
Okay.
So for this edition, he went back and recolored the entire thing.
Okay.
Made it cooler colored as opposed to the warmer colors the original had. And also said that he redrew a couple panels. There's a little bit extra on every page. One piece of extra that caught my eye.
Gordon's pipe? Yeah!
I mean, that is full-on Gordon's dick just hiding in the shadows there. He was hanging hog way before Batman did it damned.
I don't know if that's in the version I read.
I don't know either.
Don't know. I'd love it if he just added that little bit in.
There's just one thing missing from the Killing Joke.
We haven't degraded this man enough.
Oh, man. So before we get too far along into that, let's set the tone a little bit. This came out in 1988. which was 2 years after the grim and gritty reimagining of The Dark Knight Returns from Frank Miller, and 1 year before Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum. So it seems strangely out of place to me, whereas like the first half of this book, I feel is still a little campy and golden agey at times.
Absolutely.
And then it shifts into Alan Moore's bread and butter, which is deconstructing childhood comic tropes through sexual assault, puns, and portraying heroes and villains in horrifyingly mundane real-world scenarios.
Yeah. Nailed it.
It's got it all.
So, for a Batman book, actually, shockingly, not a lot of Batman. It's mostly a Joker book.
Mm-hmm.
We get little snippets of maybe backstory, may or may not be true kind of a thing, who knows?
Yep.
We'll see, or we won't see. I don't know. But Batman just kind of shows up periodically to essentially just move things forward a little bit, bit by bit.
Yeah, he's kind of picking up the pieces quite a bit, although he does facilitate the story at the very beginning, where it kicks off in a very un-Batman-like series of events, I feel like, where he charges into Arkham and, like, makes him unlock the Joker's cell, sits down, he's like, listen, man.
Yeah, come on, let's lay it out.
Me and you have been doing this dance for some time, and I feel like we're reaching the end, and one of us is gonna die. Why he thinks a Joker would care that happens at all is beyond me.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is very uncharacteristic of Batman to be this verbose and so well-spoken and compassionate sounding.
Yep, I agree. And as far as the world's greatest detective is concerned, he fucked that up from the top, too.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, this is just some guy.
Some goon.
Oh, I'm sorry I broke all your knuckles, man.
Yeah. It turns out it's not Joker in the cell, sitting across from him. It's just some white-faced goon, and the Joker is out on the town.
Buying a carnival or some shit.
I do love how he writes the Joker in this.
Okay, yeah.
I think, like, he's got a very good take on the Joker's sense of humor, where it strikes me as a much more, like, dry, sarcastic, almost like an Edgar Wright type of sense of humor, rather than, like, a chuckling, like, huckster who's just, like, telling knock-knock jokes and laughing. Like, it seems so much more intelligent than Joker is normally portrayed.
I 100% agree with that, because I hate a cackling, chaotic Joker.
Me too.
It's just not my flavor. I like one that's actually, like, has a method behind his madness kind of a thing.
Yep. And it seems that he does in this, because his overall plan is to drive Gordon crazy through the acts of defiling and paralyzing his daughter, Barbara, who's Batgirl at this time.
Yep. Or at least get someone to go mad enough that he can, like, prove that it can't just be him, kind of a thing. What makes a jokester a jokester?
This is the first taste of anybody trying to give the Joker an origin.
Yeah.
And it's kind of become, like, the go-to origin, whether or not, like, everyone's 100% on board. This is kind of like, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Because if anyone else wrote it, I would think they wouldn't be so beholden to it, but since Alan Moore did it, it's like, well, I mean, the wizard said it was true. I mean, he doesn't like to talk about it anymore. In fact, he renounced this entirely. But, like, let's keep him happy.
Yeah.
I'm never happy.
Really, the only thing I liked about the origin of this Joker thing is that there is one line in it where he says that this might have been the case.
Yeah.
Not that it was the case, that it might have been.
Mm-hmm.
And that I liked that, because, like, the origin stuff in this is pretty mad to me.
Right. Well, it's like if not to piss all over your bad day, but I think you've given people worse days, and they didn't become a jokester.
Yeah, right?
So, before he becomes a Joker, he is a fucking loser.
Yes!
This little weasel couldn't possibly snap and become a criminal mastermind. He can barely walk around in a red helmet, let alone tell a joke.
Right. So, like, what about his bad day would have, like, made him any better, right? Like, it makes very little sense, I guess.
We get so little information on him, But one vital bit they give us is that he can't deliver a punchline.
No!
So it's like, this is the guy that becomes the Joker?
Yeah.
This guy?
So
Apparently he's good in bed, though.
Yeah!
Which I find hard to believe.
So, okay. So the last time I had read this, before just this previous read, was probably 10, 15 years ago or something like that. Quite a long time ago. I remember, in hindsight, I remember that spot where he's, like, in Ace Chemicals a lot longer than it actually is for some reason.
Too. This whole, I remembered every aspect of this book because it's so short.
Yeah.
I'm like, is there more to it? No, there's less.
Yeah, so I
reread.
thought he actually confronted Batman, but now that I'm thinking of it, did they do that in the animated movie they made of this?
Yeah,
I think
so.
I thought he did, maybe.
And I think, like any other Joker origin, it involves Batman in it more than, like, Joker seeing him and jumping into death.
Yeah, I gotta know. Yeah, so when I flipped the next page, I'm like, what? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I love how the acid just completely rewires his brain to turn him into a more competent comedian.
Yeah.
So once he comes out of the chemical bath, though, what a fucking panel. That
That is an
so
amazing
good.
panel. Yeah, there are some really cool pieces, but overall, I find the art quality inconsistent, but now that you're saying he might have redrawn some panels, maybe that's part of it. Because there are some where Batman looks awesome and, has different things, but then there's other times...
I can tell you one where it doesn't look awesome.
Where he just looks like a tool, but, any, close-up shot, he doesn't look as menacing as, when he is, far back. Sometimes he's got, cool Kelly Jones things going on.
Well, yeah, there is, a bit of nostalgic pieces in there where it shows, the original cover there, and it has, all the old Jokers up on his back computer.
Right.
And when he first meets him in the chemical plant, he's got, the curved ears like that. So I think that was intentional, but I do agree there is, some variation on the art throughout it. I wonder if Moore just said, no, make him look dumb. Or man, the bat suit.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. We gotta talk about when Joker actually got one up on Batman real quick, because it's so funny that this worked on Batman, but Batman has the Joker, in his mitts, and the Joker just fucking pokes his eyes and pulls his mask down. He's like, oh no! And then gets 2x4 and he's just like, ugh.
The best expression.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what happens with the Gordons in this? Because it's really the crux of the whole book.
Yeah.
And it's something that I don't think would fly today at all.
No, not to the extremes that it went to in this book.
I also wonder if this was not a DC book and this was more left to his own devices, how much worse it could have been. Because as I turned the page, it felt like we were just a panel away from a full rape at any moment.
I honestly thought
the dwarfs are yanking Jim's pants off. I was like, are we to assume they sodomized him in the funhouse? In the tunnel of love?
Yeah. The thing that happens with Barbara, of her getting shot and paralyzed, is literally the only good takeaway from this book to me. The other Gordon stuff is insane. It's the
only thing that has any lasting impact, I would say.
Right.
Depending on how you look at the end. And also, this was an original graphic novel when it came out. It was not Batman 295. It was only this. And I think at the time it was made to kind of be out of continuity. But Alan Moore wrote it. Let's bring it in. But not all of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't like that Barbara got shot, but I like that as a part of her character arc. That's a cool thing to kind of go and, kind of have someone who's handicapped in that way actually be a more useful person in the future in the books and stuff. But the stuff they do with Jim, it's terrible, but not everyone's just going to go insane because
everyone's
you.
Yeah,
exactly. It's just no one would just go insane just because you fucking tortured them or some shit like that.
Jokester, I think something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
You gotta stop doing this or I'm gonna fucking kill you.
He should have threw Gordon an acid, is what he should have done.
Yeah,
That'll
made
do
him
it
a lot
to you.
funnier.
Yeah, it sure would. I wonder if Gordon can please his wife.
Oh, yeah. Gordon.
You think so?
Well, no, probably not. He'd be too preoccupied with the case.
Yeah. He's on the beat too much.
Yeah,
You know?
that little wimpy dick would look just the same in bed as it does getting marched out of a funhouse by gimp dwarfs. Poor Jim.
Yeah.
God, well, he's got nicotine and tobacco.
Oh, yeah, he's fine. He's got his
That's
vices.
handling all his urges.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the end of this.
Mm-hmm.
Batman tracks him down. Joker thinks he's broken Jim. He hasn't. Jim's like, this guy just showed me a bunch of naked pictures of my crippled daughter.
Yeah.
Batman, we just go kick his ass.
Yeah.
Batman's like, I'll fucking kill him. And he's like, no, you don't need to kill him, Batman. Bring him in by the book. It wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah. I love that he took like a hardened detective who's seen everything and just showed him something kind of bad again and was just like, how's this doing to you? And he's like, I saw worse things yesterday, you fool.
Yeah. Granted, having that happen to a family member, very awesome.
Terrible.
We're not underplaying
No.
But I don't think it's enough to make you go full jokester.
Yeah.
Who
Need
knows?
acid for that.
Yeah, you need the acid. And a fucking sense of humor, Jim. So Batman finally gets the Joker in his grubby mitts.
Yeah.
As Troy would say, he's got him dead to rights.
Oh, yeah.
And the Joker tells a joke. The killing joke, one might say.
Yeah.
So the joke involves two lunatics that are escaping from an asylum. They climb to the roof, and they're going to jump off to the roof of a nearby building and escape. One of them jumps over. He tells the other one, come on. The other one's too scared. He doesn't want to make the jump. So the one that's escaped is like, here, I'm going to turn on my flashlight. I'm going to make a path. You just walk across the beam of light, and you'll be free. You'll be solid. And the one that's still there is like, that won't work. You're just going to turn it off while I'm halfway through. Classic. So that is an odd joke.
Yeah.
And I've never really thought any more into it than that.
Nope.
But on this dive, I had just eaten an edible, and it was like midnight, and I was like, let's dig into this a little bit.
Okay.
So my takeaway, and maybe others think this as well, I didn't really look too far into it. I saw it as Batman and Joker are facsimiles for the two escapees. Batman is the lunatic, the functioning lunatic, who escaped the asylum and is in the real world. And he's trying to save the other one. He's trying to get him to, like, take that step and get out of, like, the madness.
Okay.
And Joker is the one that won't, and he doesn't want to leave. He can't operate in the real world. He doesn't want to be a conformist, you know? So he's, like, saying, no, I just can't. You're gonna have to kill me, because I can't make that leap.
Okay.
That's how I took it.
That's not bad.
And then it ends with Batman hearing that joke, and he cracks up, and the two, they just have a big laugh together.
Good laugh.
As the police arrive, and it's raining, the sirens are going, the lights are flashing, and the artistic camera pans down, and the lights are flashing, and then they're done. And their laughter stops as well, and everything just goes silent.
Yep.
And right before that, Batman and Joker are, like, almost embracing each other, but it's shadowed, so you don't know, are they like, or is Batman, like fucking strangling him and killing him? And I think it's open to interpretation, but I think, like, there's two ways to look at it. That he did finally snap and kill the Joker, or it's just two mates having a laugh in the rain, which makes it a fucking shit book, because that's nothing.
Yeah.
I think, like, the only way this works is if you take it that Batman finally fucking just broke and killed the Joker. He's like, he said it right at the beginning, we're reaching the point where one of us is going to kill the other.
Yeah, and you don't have, if that wasn't going to be a crux of the thing, Jim wouldn't be like, keep telling him to do it by the book. Like, yeah, sure, whatever,
Jim.
Yeah. Nice pecker, Jim.
Wait till you see what I do to your daughter in the animated adaptation of this, Jim.
Oh, shit, no. Oh, my God. Yeah, but, like, so either way you end this book, either by two chums laughing in the rain, or Batman killing Joker, None of those really work, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it can't end with him killing Joker, because obviously if this is in continuity, he didn't kill Joker.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe Moore wanted it to be that. And Grant Morrison has explained this theory on Fat Man on Batman. He's like, it's brilliant, it's the killing joke. You know? It's like, it's the joke that made him kill.
It was a shit joke. I'd kill someone if they told me that joke.
There's also like parallels that when the cops approach, you see the siren reflection in the rain.
Yeah.
And it's like a beam of light. It kind of looks like maybe the flashlight, and then it goes out. So it's like
halfway.
fucking cut him off.
Oh my
Batman
God.
fucking dropped him.
Got him.
I think that on that merit, it's something.
It is something.
Without that, it's just like, it's kind of a nothing story, other than Barbara gets paralyzed. Which is like an unfortunate only good thing about this book. It's like, well, is there anything more than that other than this poor woman getting crippled?
Not really. It's not long enough to contain anything else.
I did kind of get the feeling, because we know Batman's like had it up to here. He's had it up to those ears with the two of them.
Yeah.
I got the feeling that like Joker was also kind of burnt out of this.
Yeah.
Like the relationship. Like he kind of maybe wants to stop but can't. And in turn, he's almost like welcoming the end. Like maybe he did all this to provoke Batman into ending it for him because he knows that's the only way.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was going to mention earlier, how Batman originally felt like out of character to me.
Yeah.
By the end of it, he's a little more Batman. I wonder if this was Moore's mic drop on like, you thought this is what comics were, huh? And then he's like, I'll show you fucking comics today. And then gives us the grim and gritty modern age, which he's still apologizing for. But, like, was that his transition where it's like, oh, it's all smiles and fun. Joker escaped. We gotta go get... Holy shit, what did we fucking do this time? Where it's like, okay, comics aren't fun anymore. Thanks, Alan.
Yeah. I gotta have a love-hate relationship with people trying to prove something in a piece of art, really, I guess. Like... Yeah, it's a tough balance to make, but it's like my problem with the Matrix 4. Because it's just the Wachowski wanting to stick it to, like, big corporations. Like, yeah, but could you have not done it with a Matrix movie that could have been cool?
Right, it's like, we all still like the Matrix. I'm sorry, you hate it now.
Yeah.
That's kind of, like, more in general. Like, he was so, like, adamant about moving comics to the next level. And then when everyone kind of, like, went along with that and overdid it, he did a complete heel turn. He's like, no, comics are just fucking kid stuff. Like, you know, you can't look for adult themes and adult meaning in comics. They're for kids. It's like, well, I mean, you can't have it both ways, Alan.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what you were doing before that.
We've seen the stuff you've written, Alan. What are you talking about?
It's not for kids. Some of it's not for anybody.
No.
So before we wrap up, I feel like we have to address the animated adaptation. Have you seen it?
I have.
Okay. Got a little hair there.
Oh!
Your beard.
Ooh, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want to refilm everything?
Yes.
Okay. So for years, everyone was championing, you gotta adapt The Killing Joke, and it's gotta be fucking R-rated, man. It's gonna be awesome. And then they finally did it after like years of fans pleading, and they got Conroy, God bless, and they got Hamill. And they pretty much, with the exception of one part, did a straight adaptation of it. And it fucking sucked.
Yeah!
It proved that, like, not everything needs to be adapted. And if it does, it doesn't have to be exactly like the source material.
Yeah.
Because I think it's shown a light on just, like, how kind of campy and lackluster it was in a different medium.
Yeah.
It's like, it works in comics, but it just, as Moore said, like, some things don't need to be brought into another medium. That's not what it was written for.
That is one thing I'll agree with more on this one. Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, we have to talk about the fact that Batman fucks Barbara at the beginning of this, right?
I don't...
What
I guess,
was
but I
up
don't
with that?
understand why that's in there, even.
I mean, I get you need to flesh it out more. You need to add some runtime to it. But maybe it could have just been a shorter one. You know? And maybe they felt like they needed to give Barbara a little bit more backstory, because she's literally only in the book for like a page.
Get shot, yeah.
So I get that, but like this also didn't seem like the best way to do that by just making her like just fuck Batman at the beginning. And then after that, she's never in it again.
Yeah, they could have just had them on a mission together. That would have been awesome, probably.
They were on a mission.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, but the adaptation is one of those things where it's like, yeah, the fans aren't always right.
So, final thoughts on The Killing Joke in all its forms, in all its glory.
In all of its glory. It is, to me, honestly, pretty mid. It's just, it's like a nothing sandwich. I don't know what else to say about it.
And like we said, like the ambiguous ending is odd for what a monumental book this is, and it's either brilliant in its subtlety in whether he did or didn't kill the Joker, or it's nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like, which is it? I feel like most of what I hear from comic creators is that he didn't kill the Joker and that was never the intent. But I have no idea, and I know more won't say shit about it, so maybe we'll never really know.
No, we'll never find out.
So what did you think? Are we off base here?
Yeah.
Is it a seminal classic?
If we've missed something big, just let us know. But yeah, until next time, like, I've been Dinosaur Neil.
You have been. I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
Oh boy, and we've been Imperius Rex.
Imperius Rex. To Kevin.
To Kevin!
There's a very unique connection between the fans and Batman. It's almost like a personal connection. He's the only one who's not a superhero. There's nothing supernatural about him. But not only is he human, he's a very flawed human, and he knows he's flawed. He's been damaged by life. But aren't we all flawed? Don't we all get damaged by life? So it makes Batman that much more relatable because he's so much like us. What distinguishes him is that no matter what life throws at him, no matter what crisis or challenge or failure, he never lets it defeat him. He never lets it make him angry or bitter or crush him. He takes that pain that life throws at him and he turns it around and he gives it back to the world as love. Because his whole mission is to leave the world better than he found it. And it's the nobility of that mission. That's what we admire so much about him. But you know, that's something we can all aspire to, because you don't have to have superpowers to want to give to the people in your life, to want to leave the world a better place. All you have to do is care enough to try, to want to. Because everyone faces challenges in life. Everyone faces crises and disappointments and failure. We all stumble our way through life. We all do. But that's not what defines us. What defines us is how we get back up and learn from our mistakes and get back into life. That's where Batman is such a wonderful role model for everybody.